Alright guys, so we're loading up, getting ready for CT Barber Expo, as you can see. And what's in these boxes is actually pretty cool. Matter of fact, let me show you right now. So this is the new power mat. It's part of the Tomb 45 ecosystem. It's something that we introduced on Instagram. We've been kind of leaking photos and stuff. We haven't shown everything yet because we're planning on fully launching at CT Barber Expo. We're going to continue to share more content, so make sure you follow me on Instagram and all that good stuff. If you got any questions, I'll answer some in the comments below. But this is a piece of the puzzle, and what we didn't share with you guys when we decided to launch or to show the Beam Team XL is that the whole time it had wireless charging capability. So you're able to use, if you have a Beam Team XL, you're able to use the power mat with it and charge it wirelessly, and the power clips, all that good stuff. You go to tomb45.com right now, you can pre-order it. But I'm so excited for this, man. I feel like it's a game changer, and I can't wait for everyone to have one. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with this tutorial. YouTube, yo, it's been forever since I dropped a tutorial for you guys, and I apologize, it's been super busy. As you guys may know, we've been putting in a lot of work when it comes to innovating with the Tomb 45 product line. But anyways, this haircut, we're gonna start off with a profile parting right here in the back, and this is pretty much going to dictate the length of my haircut, the longest length on the sides, the perimeter, as you will. And it's super important the angle that you hold your fingers, and we're gonna do all scissors cut or shear cut, whatever you want to call it. In the States they say shear, you know, overseas they say scissors. So but I looked up the definition, and it seems to be, by Webster Dictionary, that scissors is anything that's 6.5 inches and lower, and shears are, you know, 7 inches and more. So I can understand why people get it confused, but yeah, that was just me doing a little bit of research. So anyways, what I like to do is when I do this parting, I take this section, I like to start in the middle of that section and then work my way up and then work my way down. It just helps me with controlling so much more, because when it comes to these type of haircuts, it's super important, especially on shorter scissor cuts like this. Super important that you're not over directing too much, and what over directing simply is like pulling forward or pulling the hair backwards, up or down. So that's super important that you're coming right off the head and you're keeping everything squared. And I'm always over directing towards the last cut, and so that's why you saw me switch sides. And there's different ways to create this haircut, but generally speaking, you know, anything that I'm trying to leave with some length that my client can brush back or comb back, I usually cut over the fingers. If I'm trying to do something a little bit shorter, a little bit tighter around the ears, I'll cut, you know, palm to palm. So these are all things that you learn in barber school, all things that you should learn in barber school. Even if your teachers ain't teaching it, if you open that Milady book, it's in there. You don't need somebody to tell you what to learn. Just open the book and learn, you know, read the book. I had to go back and do this myself. So anyways, when I get over here, this area is called the mastoid process. So this is where it starts to curve into the side of the head from the back to the side, and I'm coming, you know, I'm bringing it out to the side, because again, I'm trying to keep everything squared, and that's going to be my section. I'm going to keep that going. This is why I explained to Josie and Kendricks, they were watching me cut, how I'm trying to create everything squared, and then afterwards, if it looks a little too bulky around the round of the head over here, then I can go ahead and soften it up, maybe make it a little bit more contoured so that it's not too bulky. But I'm trying to keep that squared masculine look regardless. You know, once you go through this, I always tell people, you know, this is the rough draft, and I like to go through the rough draft no matter what type of haircut it is as quickly as possible, because, you know, the magic to me happens in the details. So here we're going to do some block graduation. and it just helps me. It's just easier for me when I'm cutting the side of the head, and you can see that, boom, I have a guideline there and a guideline there. So I'm just pretty much connecting that bridge, and now I have a guideline to cut the sides so that I can make sure it's nice and even with the rest of the haircut, and I'm able to keep it squared. It's just about control, guys. What I've tried to do is kind of, especially in the barbershop environment that I'm in, it's not really like a salon. It's not really luxurious, to be real with you. It's a typical American urban barbershop, and so time is money, and my clients, you know, they can't be in the shop all day either. So yeah, I've tried to eliminate a lot of the fancy stuff by just understanding the theory and understand, you know, angles and the shape that I'm trying to create. And all this stuff I learned from taking classes, from higher continued education and practicing on mannequins. Because I'm gonna keep it real with you, I don't do these haircuts often at all. It's, you know, number 2s with finger length on top, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can feel me. A lot of you guys can understand what I'm talking about. So anyways, I'm still trying to cut over the fingers on this side, but if you notice, I kind of switched the direction that my fingers are pointing. This just makes it more comfortable, because I can't cut, you know, I'm not ambidextrous. Like, shout out to MC Barber, I ain't got it like that, but that's okay. You can cut it like this as long as you're paying attention to the angle of your fingers. You'll be fine. And there's my guide, and there's my cut. So it all works if you work well with it, right? All of it works if you work well with it. Stop trying to do fancy stuff if you don't work well with that. You know, like, you should be trying to learn, but like in my instance, the way I look at it, bro, is when you're in the shop working, that's your time to make money and do what you're proficient at. You gotta practice after the game and before the game. Get mannequins, right? And then you can start getting real fancy with it. But, you know, practice makes perfect when the practice is perfect, right? Something I learned from Tyreek. So anyways, we're doing the same exact thing on this side. We're gonna go ahead and switch to box graduation or block graduation, just so that I have a good just so I'm staying organized and my perimeter stays the same on the sides. And this is the type of stuff that I teach on foundations. This is kind of like the boring stuff. Nobody's, you know, at least I don't think, nobody's trying to learn this stuff to cut their own hair. It'd be really difficult to use these techniques on yourself. Taking nice clean sections. And I'm sorry if you guys hear background noise. My kids are sleeping upstairs and my wife is watching the Kardashians while we're waiting to get on Game of Thrones. That's next. Game of Thrones, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, best show of all time. I don't care what nobody says. Anyways, you guys can see, you know, once you understand what you're trying to accomplish and how hair works and shape and all that, like, you can run through this pretty quickly. So we're done with the sides. Let's go ahead and cut the top, and we're gonna do pretty much the same idea of profile parting right in the middle, and that's gonna be my guide for the entire haircut. But I'm taking from the profile parting I started with. This is called working internally, right? And so I'm just running right off that guide, right on the apex, like the book would teach you. And we're gonna cut a triangular shape. So it's gonna be longer on the top, on the front. It's gonna gradually grow longer towards the front. And this is for people who want more volume in the front, right? Let's continue this. And if you guys don't know, CT Barber Expo is this weekend. I cannot wait. It's gonna be crazy. The Grammys, the launch of the Tomb 45 ecosystem. You know, the booth is gonna be crazy. We are the official Connecticut Barber Expo after party. It is Tomb 45 presents. Like, Yo, who would have thought, guys, 3 years ago we would be the after party, you know, for the biggest barber expo in the world. Like, it's still surreal to me. But you guys can see, boom, that middle profile parting we started with, that's now my guide, and you can see through the hair, and it allows you to keep that length, you know, all the way through. Check that out. Very simple. But your sections got to be on point. You know, your parting's got to be clean. You got to have a good comb. Like, you guys sleep on combs, how important they are. You guys sleep on shears, how important they are. You know, I'm using Tomb 45 shears. They don't have to be amazing, you know, $1,000 shears. These shears are like $100 bucks, $120. You know, they don't have to be amazing. You can get that later on when your shear cuts or your scissor cuts will pay for them, right? But you got to have something decent. You can't be, you know, I know barber schools that giving students scissors or shears with the plastic handles. That's crazy to me. Don't practice with those guys. Like the saying goes, practice makes perfect. When you're practicing perfect technique with good tools, and then you're setting yourself up for success. I'm butchering that saying, but you guys get what I'm saying. And then we're doing the same thing on this side, bringing it up to the last cut. Look at that, boom. And I was just checking. See that? See how you can see right through it? And that's what I'm explaining to Kendrick. Come over here, bro. Kendrick, come over here and check this out, bro. You can see right through the hair. You can see your guide. When you're clean, you'll be proficient and efficient, and you'll get a good quality haircut. And when you cross check, you don't gotta do as much work. You can focus on the detailing, but rather than all the fixing. So here we're gonna go ahead, and this is the last step right here. And I'm just taking nice clean sections, keeping everything squared. Boom, look at that. How to back it up for you. Okay. Again, this is stuff that I teach on foundations, but I teach a system pretty much that you can use on any haircut, even this one. Even if you're doing all scissors on the sides or fade on the sides, doesn't matter if you're doing a crop or you're doing a pump on the top. It's the same system, the same idea. Make it really easy for you so that you can produce quick, efficient, quality haircuts. That's what I do on foundations. I teach you guys the system that I use. So I'm pretty much, what I'm doing right now is answering questions from Josie and Kendricks, who are amazing barbers, who are super passionate about, you know, the barbering career. They'll be at CT Barber Expo, and I'm super proud of them. So all right, so now we'll blow dry the haircut. We'll get it nice and dry and prepare it for not necessarily the final style, but just dry so that we can go ahead and texturize or thin or just detail certain areas that should be cleaned up. And the product that I'm gonna use is Tomb 45's very own Royal Wax. Again, you can check out all our products. We got volumizing powder, we have waxes, we have clays, we have fiber paste, shave gel. We're not just a, you know, tool, hardware, electronics company selling compressors and amazing ecosystems. We also have our own shears. You know, we're what I like to say is we're a brand, man. We've built ourselves up to be a brand, starting with shave gels. And I hate to keep bringing up the brand, but I'm just so super excited about, you know, where it's going right now. So you guys can see we're point cutting. This is just creating, you know, a kind of opening the hair up so that it'll grab to the other hairs and allow it to sit up and keep that volume. So this area right here, we're working below the occipital bone, and I'm just kind of getting it a little bit tighter below the occipital bone. If you notice, I switched over to palm cutting, and this is okay because I'm not trying to create, you know, a squared layered look. I am trying to contour a little bit beneath the occipital bone. So all right, and so we're putting a little bit of wax now. One thing I forgot to show is I did add some hairspray at the end, but not yet. We're gonna go ahead and put some wax, and then I gotta outline it with the shears, and then the cut will be done. This is that Scott Disick look. He literally showed me a picture of Scott Disick, and the thing with Scott Disick's haircut is it's not tight around the ears. You know, the length that it was at when I started the haircut around the ears was already too short. So that's why I decided to do kind of like squared layers, because that's gonna allow the length around the perimeter to have some length that he can comb back. All right, so now we're just kind of outlining it, and what I'm trying to do, especially around the ears, is I'm not trying to comb the hair down and then create this outline. I'm just gonna comb a little bit of the hair. You'll see what I do. Hold on, let me see it. Okay, so see this how I'm pushing the hair up, and I'm just getting the little tiny bit of hair that's kind of laying down, but I'm pushing a lot of this length away so I don't cut it. That way he has some hair to brush back. I have a lot of fun with these haircuts. I wish I had more clients that came in for it, but at this point in my career, man, I'm in the shop maybe once, twice a week. Sometimes I miss a whole month. So I'm not building clientele. I'm just kind of keeping what I already have. All right, and then what I'm doing here is I'm just creating a softer look around the sideburn area. I'm not trying to make it look tapered or anything like that, but I just want to lay softer the whole perimeter. I'm not even gonna use the liners after this. I just want to have a soft look. That's it, and I feel like that works for this haircut. So same here, just around the ears. Careful, Chris, don't cut the ears. Okay, look at that, nice soft lay, and then boom, point cut it just to soften it up a little bit more so it's not too poofy around the sideburn area, and I think that looks dope. That's the finished cut, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, this is kind of something different on my channel, but I thought it was refreshing to get to do. So hope y'all enjoyed it. Love y'all. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Smash the like button and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Love y'all. Take care.